Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 85 of the Run in the Paint podcast. I'm Miles here with Jackson, Nick, and Joey. Guys, how are you doing today?
Feeling good, feeling great.
What's up, fellas? What's up, everybody? Happy to be here.
Basketball is back.
Let's go! Sadly. Gaglin's just mad because his Rockets did not have a great opening day.
It's not even just the Rockets, dude. I checked the standings just now. Then so far the Knicks are the 15th seed, the Timberwolves are the 15th, and the Rockets are the 14th.
Not the best start.
Not the best start.
For Jackson's teams right there. But yeah, this is the very first full podcast episode since the 2024-25 regular season has started. And as of this morning when this is coming out, every team is going to have played at least one game. And we're going to talk about all of them in some manner. Now, as we're recording this, the Timberwolves Kings game and the Thunder Nuggets are playing, so we may not be able to talk about those in depth as much as these other teams in this video. But if you want to hear our thoughts about those games in particular, go check out the Run in the Paint recap video. We've started doing that for this season, and that will already be up, and we'll have our thoughts on these two crazy games. Hope you guys have enjoyed those so far. But first, before we get to talking about all these crazy games, we have to start off with PERTL again. This is our third day doing this. And so far in the first 2 days, first two episodes, we've guessed it in 4 and 3. So we're going for 2 today.
We're 0-1-1.
Yeah, remember, par is 3.
I'm the PERTL god, guys. Just
I don't know, man. I guess Santi Aldama, my turn, and he went off for like 27 points in the first game.
He did go crazy, but Nick is going to guess first. And now, this is important here because we want to try to get this in 2, so we need a good first guess.
Yeah, I was thinking of a vet who has a middle number, like you were saying about Chetty Osman, who maybe has been on a couple teams, played in both conferences, and I came up with Spencer Dinwiddie. I think that might be a good starting place
I like
for
it.
us.
I like it. All right, let's guess.
I thought you were about to say Jetty.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie. Okay.
Spencer P. Diddy.
Taller than 6'5".
6'6", 6'7" in the Eastern Conference.
And he's younger. We got a lower number.
Okay. I don't know. If we somehow get this in 2, this will be a miracle.
So let's see. Under 26, under 31. Immediately.
What about Jordan Poole?
No, he's not a guard.
Immediately in my head, I'm thinking.
Are they going to consider Jaylen Brown a guard?
I'm thinking Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey.
Oh, wait, is he number 41?
I think he's number 14 on the Wizards, technically.
Ooh.
Dude.
You want to try him?
Dinwiddie play for them? No.
No, that wouldn't matter, though. The Mavericks think Sadiq Bey has never played for the Mavericks.
Oh, true. If it's Sadiq Bey, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to do a backflip.
All right, let's try. All right, we're going to try it. We're going to give Dogma a chance here on this one. Sadiq Bey. Oh, that was so close. And I guess he is 41 still.
Are you joking me?
That's crazy.
Dude.
So he's on Washington?
Is that Corey Kispert?
He has a low.
Yeah, it's probably Kispert.
Corey Kispert. Yeah, I think it's Corey Kispert.
It's got to be.
What an alley-oop I just threw.
Thank you.
God.
No.
What? No?
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Bro.
Dang, we lost.
Oh,
okay,
no.
That's tough. All right.
Under 20. Wait. Is it going to be some sort of. Wait.
No, Koulibaly's young. Like.
How old is Kuzma?
Kuzma's older.
He's number 33, though.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Koulibaly?
Anthony Gill? No, he's not 6'6".
Dang. I really thought it was Corey Kispert.
Wait, Koulibaly was young. Koulibaly's young.
Yeah, he's young. Dang, why is this so tough? We have the team, we have the position, and he's 24, 23 years old.
We need to start looking up the roster for the Washington Wizards.
Dude, I don't even want it, dude.
I'm just kidding.
Could it be Bagley? Is he still young?
He ain't
He's not that
6'6"
short.
though.
He ain't 6'6".
Patrick Baldwin.
Patrick Baldwin. That is he super young? He's only in his third year. It could.
Ooh, he could be 24.
Patrick Baldwin,
I think he
dude.
wears
He's
number like
6'9".
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was a pretty tall
Ooh.
guy.
Just trust. Cuz.
Just reveal it.
Let's see.
You didn't reveal it. Are you
Patrick
No.
Baldwin. Yeah, he's 6'9".
He's 6'9". So he's in between 21 and 25.
21. Dang.
Number 8 or number 9?
Oh wait, it's 23. He's gonna be 23 years old.
It is cool. Is it Koulibaly? Who's number 8 or
No,
number?
Koulibaly.
Justin Champagne.
Oh
is
my
6'6".
gosh, it's the Champagne brother. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no,
Dude.
Oh
that's
no,
How do we get that pull?
That's bad.
that's
You
bad.
looked it up.
His brother played well tonight for last night for the
I think
Spurs.
he had a
That's
decent
bad.
game.
We taken a major step back on
That
5.
was
Man, and we could man.
I really thought it was Kispert. I was sold on Kispert. We almost had it.
I did too. Let us know if you were
I
able
mean,
to
what?
guess.
So that makes us in golf terms we're what +3 right now.
Plus,
Yeah, that would have been
2.
a double bogey.
No, +2.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
We're
no,
right
because
now
we were
+2.
+1 before. We were
But we
+1
also
before.
wait,
Yeah, through
no, and then
3
we were
holes.
par. Oh yeah,
Through
we
3
are
holes.
we are +3. I forgot par doesn't just go down. It just stays the same.
The PERTL golf.
The
Man.
PERTL Golf Challenge.
All right, next episode
I like
we'll
PERTL golf.
we'll be much better. I mean, you can't do much worse than 5 on that one. But
Hey,
now
Sadiq Bey was crazy
Sadiq
cool.
Bey was good. We just didn't get it off that. But now it's time to get into actual basketball games. It has been so long since we've been able to do this. And since we're so excited here to talk about these basketball games, we are doing a classic segment. Shout out to the starters, No Dunks, for this classic segment that they always do at the start of the season. It's just one game, but on this podcast, except for maybe Jackson Goglin, I think we all do a pretty good job of staying level-headed and not overreacting.
What?
But
Dude.
today we're going to start off here by potentially overreacting a little bit off of the first
Potentially.
for the first game or two of these teams. So I'll start us off with this one. It's just one game, or actually 2 games for this team, but the Boston Celtics are winning 74 games this season.
Breaking the record.
They have
I mean,
been
are they
killing it.
unstoppable? They might be unstoppable.
They have been killing it. Now, of course, last night they beat up the Washington Wizards. That was a pretty, give me game right there. But the opening night game, this is the one that we do have to focus on. The very first game, a game that we were all anticipating very highly, as I'm sure all NBA fans across the world were. And it turned into a historic game on the offensive end by the Boston Celtics, tying an NBA record for 29 made three-pointers. Unbelievable that this happened. They should have had the record. They should have had 30 made threes. Nick, let's start with you. What is a takeaway that you have from this Knicks Celtics game on either side?
Jason Tatum, 8 for 11. Do I need to say anything more? I mean, you can't stop that kind of
production.
That you can't stop that level. And then you surround him with, Jaylen Brown. I mean, we're not even playing with their full force yet.
Yeah, this was just their starting 5 in that Knicks Celtics game. They hit 26 threes, which I'm very sure is the NBA record for most threes by a starting lineup. This was just unbelievable. I can't believe that it happened. But to start the game, I was just disappointed at the quality of looks that they were getting, because at the start they were all just wide open threes.
No defense. Which is kind of sad to see from a Knicks team, because this team last year at least had pretty solid defense.
It is a new era of New York Knicks basketball that is very offensive dependent, offensive based, and on opening night, the Boston Celtics were the better offense. That was very clear.
who do you blame on the offense or on the defensive end now that Julius Randle's not there?
Dude, it's not. I mean, they're playing the Celtics. I think they just had a lot of miscommunication right off the bat. I think obviously Cat hasn't been there for that long. I mean, in all seriousness, and I think they're still trying to gel together as a team. They made a lot of offseason moves. They even like OG hasn't been on that team for that long. I mean, he's one of those guys that was traded midway through the year last year. So I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll be fine. The only thing I'm worried about is Mikal Bridges' jump shot. It's unbearable.
Mikal Kid Gilchrist. I've been saying it. I've been saying it. It was definitely a little alarming to start. I mean, in the preseason and to start that game, I don't know what. I just don't understand why you would change your jump shot when he's been a very good 3-point shooter, in his years with the Phoenix Suns. And in the second half, he was able to get it going when the game was already, out of reach or whatever. But you just wonder if that's going to be a problem.
The thing is, the Knicks need Mikal Bridges because, like I said, it's a new era of Knicks basketball. And not only that, it's a new era of basketball, like just worldwide. I mean, Steph Curry changed the league with the Warriors, and now you have teams like the Boston Celtics who are, I mean, would you ever have imagined they could break a record like that on opening night on game one? Just 29 threes to like come down every single time and be looking to get a three-pointer off within the first 5 or 6 seconds of the shot clock is just an entirely different way of playing. And that's how the league is going. And the Knicks need Mikal Bridges to be a part of that going forward if they want a chance to win.
100% correct. It's really funny to me that, like, Miles said it, it made me laugh. They really should have had 33s. They missed their last, 12 or 13 threes attempted. They went, over 12, in the last. That's what you should have had at least one ball.
It was hilarious, too. I was talking with some buddies here at college, some of my announcer friends, because we were listening to Kevin Harlan on the call. And there was that one possession where they had 3 looks at it, and Kevin Harlan was just like, Pritchard, could this be the record? No. Hauser, oh, he missed it all. Or, it was
a good impression. I like that.
It was crazy. But to me, the start of the game, I don't understand why Tom Thibodeau came in with the defensive strategy to have Karl Anthony Towns drop back on his pick and roll coverage. Because that was really how the Celtics got it going. Their first few threes, it was just Tatum pulling up for threes wide open, and those were just practice shots. The reason the Celtics were 10 for 17 from 3 in the first quarter, of course they made a lot of shots. Most of them were wide open. And you don't just get 17 threes just from being all right, we just want to shoot a lot of threes. The defense sometimes can, determine what shots you get. And the Knicks defense let the Celtics shoot 17 threes in the first quarter. And once, this team, who's already an incredible 3-point shooting team, all the numbers point to that last year, once they get it going in the first 5, 6, the first quarter of the game, it's a wrap. They got it going. It's a 20-point lead. Knicks couldn't get it to within 15 or 16 points after the first quarter. It was over.
That's so sad to see because I was really hyped about this game too, and it really was no contest. And I know there's people injured on both sides, and there's a lot of chemistry issues. This is a completely different Knicks team than what we're going to see in March and April. Guarantee you that. But it was very shocking that that's how you started off against who everyone says that's the only team you got to beat. They're the only one that stands in your way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Knicks will be fine. I mean, offensively, I mean, they shot 55% from the field and shot well from 3. They had a good offensive game. The Celtics just made nearly 33 pointers, so it wasn't even that close. But the Knicks, they'll be fine. I think in future matchups against the Celtics, Tom Thibodeau will make the adjustment. He's a very smart head coach. He'll have Karl Anthony Towns up on the pick and rolls. Because he made the adjustment after the first quarter, and they weren't getting 3-point shots off the pick and roll. It was just off the ball movement, which is just championship team making the adjustments during the game. That was a
Yeah.
really awesome opening night victory. So shout out to the Celtics for just that win and also beating the Wizards as well. 2-0 start to the season.
As clinical a start as you hope to get as a defending champ.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But let's move on for it's just one game. But Joey, how about you get us going with this?
All right. It's just one game, but the Intuit Dome in LA is the greatest arena stadium in North America. That place is fantastic. And for all those who watched the game or saw the stats, and you look on you look at the stats and you're like, Booker missed a free throw, KD missed a couple free throws. They missed those free throws down the stretch in front of the massive wall of fans doing coordinated stuff to get in. It was fantastic. It was like I was watching like my English soccer that I love to watch with those incredible fans over there that chant so loud it's deafening. That's what it was like watching that game in LA the other night.
Dude, one thing I noticed was like even in the corners of the stands, like if you look directly behind the stanchion of the hoop, like where the corner of the stadium kind of billows in, it's like right on the court as well. Like you can see it on TV. It just seems a lot closer, like those corner areas, all four corners, than most other stadiums that you see,
Oh,
even just
yeah.
on TV.
Dude, it looks
Everybody
it's
like right there.
insane. It's insane. I saw Brian Windhorst earlier on ESPN talking about it. And he's like, teams are gonna have to go in thinking like actually paying attention to where they want to shoot in the second half.
Yeah, it's true because it is from being lucky enough to work with the NBA for a year, it is the visiting team that chooses which side they want to shoot on each half. So visiting teams will make the adjustment very quickly, I'm sure,
Oh
in the
yeah.
Intuit Dome. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I noticed with this game was just how loud it was. Like, I
Yeah.
cannot remember a Clippers regular season game being that loud, and it was just because of that atmosphere. Clipper fans now finally have their own building, and it was a great game as well, going up against the Phoenix Suns there. Back and forth. The Suns started out on fire. They made 10 threes in the first half. Then the Clippers picked up their defense, forced turnovers, got back in the game, actually had a 10-point lead with 4 or 5 minutes to go. Then the Phoenix Suns, a team that really struggled mightily in fourth quarters last year, turned the tables. They came back. Kevin Durant made a heck of a one-legged fadeaway to force the game into overtime, where the Suns eventually won 116 to 113. But it was definitely a heck of a game. Great way to start off at the Intuit Dome. Jackson and I were watching this game actually together right before we did our recap. But Jackson, what were your thoughts of this game?
It was a great game. I mean, Booker fouled out, which kind of sucked, but I mean, James Harden showed that he's not washed. And I think the Clippers will surprise a couple people. I don't think with Kawhi being out for a while, they're going to be like incredible because I don't think they got I don't think Harden's going to put that up every game, and I don't think like Zubats is going to have that crazy of a game every game. So I mean, I think they'll be a decent team, but I mean, it was like overtime. We almost had a second overtime too. It was an electric game for sure.
Yeah, all the talk about missed free throws. The James Harden missed a free throw with 4 seconds left that would have tied the game again. But I mean, James Harden, his usage in this game, I mean, I can't remember. It's been a few years since he's had to do that much. He finished the game with 29 points, 12 boards, 8 assists, 10 for 28 from the field, taking 28 shots in a game. That's like Houston Rockets, James Harden. And that's kind of what they needed because, with the lack of talent or not as much talent as the last few seasons, it really is kind of Zubats down low in the post and on pick and rolls as the second option for the Clippers. And
Yeah.
then if anyone else can really get it going, it's kind of figuring out who that third guy can be on both ends of the floor. But one game in, I mean, I was saying it in the pre-pod lobby, just with the Intuit Dome, I certainly did not take into account how much of a home court advantage that could be for the Clippers with their predictions. I don't think that they're going to be as low as a lot of people are predicting just because of the home court advantage. But it was also the first game of the building. So, there's going to be all that, build up as well.
I don't know. Steve Ballmer
Yeah.
was talking about it, saying he's like, I want a real home field advantage, home court advantage when you come into our arena. And man, that is certainly a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Phoenix Suns, good job getting that first victory.
Yeah.
Again, with all these games that we're going to get to later, even though it is the first game, so important to pick up wins that you should get.
Mhm.
And this was a win that they should have gotten against a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard. So
Good to
Suns
see.
could come
Yeah,
back.
good to see Beal knocking down shots again. That's a good start to year
Hopefully
2 in
Steve Nash
Phoenix.
is fired.
Yeah, everyone for the Suns was pretty efficient. Besides, I guess, a little bit late at the free throw line.
I think the Suns showed why they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs, and it's because they have those closers that a lot of other teams won't necessarily have. They have 3 guys who can close out games for them.
As I say, last year they didn't know who was going to be that closer. That was the problem, and nobody did it. This year, it's definitely
Now-
seems they're gelling.
Yeah, I think now they're all like, I don't care who closes as long as we close and get our wins.
Yeah,
'Cause,
Tyus
I mean-
Jones definitely made a difference for them in that Suns debut.
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say, he
think
played well.
he had 7 assists, 0 turnovers, 0 fouls, right?
Yep,
11
That's
points,
solid.
8 assists.
8 assists. Yeah.
Oh, 8 assists. I think he's something like 8 assists or something away from tying the record for most consecutive assists, or not consecutive, but most assists in games where he has 0 turnovers and 0 fouls or something.
Wow,
I saw that.
that's crazy. He is one of the more efficient playmakers in our league. That's definitely a good start there for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. I hope Stephen A gets fired, by the way. After his Kawhi comments.
That was
Yeah,
a
saying Kawhi is
outrageous
the worst
comment.
superstar in the league. I
He's better
mean,
superstar than Joel Embiid. That's not even me hating. Joel Embiid stinks.
Slightly hating.
I think
Yeah.
that's hating because the process itself is legendary. No matter what happens, it still is amazing. But moving on from the Suns Clippers, again, great game there on Wednesday night. Got to go to another good game that did come down to the wire potentially. Well, actually, no, it's just one game. But Nick, you go ahead. You're probably going to talk about this game.
Yeah, man. LaMelo Ball might win the MVP award this year because he went off yesterday, 27, 11, and 8, making his team claw back for a victory against, a lot of a team that a lot of people had pretty high hopes for in the Rockets. Charlotte, another team in the East that could be moving up in the rankings this year, but down 16 late in the second quarter of this one for the Hornets. And oh, sorry, LaMelo had 34, not 27. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Look at the great efficiency from the Rockets players.
But down 16 late in the second quarter, down double digits most of the first half, and they claw back. Comes down to a close one, but yeah, like you said, Miles, a lot of good stuff all around for the Hornets. I mean, not only will LaMelo maybe win the MVP, but are Trey Mann and LaMelo the best backcourt of all time, combining for 58 points last night in opening night?
I was just
I know
about
who the
to
worst
say that.
backcourt of all time is. It's easy when you're playing against the worst backcourt of all time.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Fred and
Salty
Jalen.
Rock. Incoming,
Jalen.
incoming salty Rockets fan.
Fred was 4 for 18 and Jalen was 9 for 23. What do you want me to say? Yeah, they were
Good
elite. No.
defense. Give Charlotte some credit.
Yeah,
They're
gotta give the Hornets some credit. Winning a game on the road here in a place that the Rockets were a very good home team last season, in a game where Brandon Miller only plays 10 minutes because he has to leave with a hip injury. He had a monster dunk at the start of this game. Has to leave with a hip injury. Shouldn't be that serious though. He is going to miss tonight's game, unfortunately, against the Atlanta Hawks. But no, I mean the Charlotte Hornets. Their comeback was basically led by LaMelo Ball leading the way, and the bench, which was led by Trey Mann. But Grant Williams hit the go-ahead 3. Seth Curry was good off the bench. But on the Rockets side of things, Alperen Şengün looked awesome. He was a beast in this game. 25 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. He had a double-double 4 minutes into the second quarter already. He was being very aggressive, and that's what you need to do when you're going up against a Hornets team where Mark Williams is already
Nope.
injured. Nick Richards, he got Nick Richards into quick foul trouble, and their backup center was Musa Diabate, the youngster who came from the Clippers. So when you're going up against those guys, you need to win those matchups, and he definitely did that. He was a beast. He was a monster for sure for the Rockets.
Where was Jabari Smith Jr. in this game? 2 points,
Let's move
2 of
on,
7 from
please.
the field. Come on, man. We really want Jalen
He had
Green
more than
taking
2 points.
15
Where are you
threes.
getting these stats from?
There are 8 points.
8 points.
Sir.
I can't read.
Not much better.
It's not
Not
even his
much.
fault. They barely gave him the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Rockets' offense is a lot of it was Şengün in the post, Jalen and Fred pick and roll with Şengün or Jalen ISO, and that's
Or
kind
Jalen
of
and Fred miss a 3.
what's up, Jackson?
Or Jalen and Fred miss a 3.
Yeah, they did. That is their 3-point shooting. Jalen Green was 5 of 15 from 3. I don't know if I like him shooting 15 threes. Fred VanVleet was 2 for 11 from 3. Those shots will fall. He's a high volume 3-point shooter. Those shots will fall in future games.
I pray.
Other
for
bright spots though for the
15.
Rockets, Amen Thompson with 13 points off the bench. He looked very good, Jackson.
Only good
I
player.
will say it is good to see that even after getting the money and getting paid, Alperen Şengün still balled out, because you do see it often where immediately they're like, okay, I got paid. We can coast a little bit to start the season, and then like we can pick it up later when it really matters. The
Yeah, but the
rest
Rockets,
of the team is probably going to do that, but at least Şengün isn't.
Move on, please.
All right, we can move on. Jackson, what is your first? It's just one game, but what's your first take?
I think Evan Mobley, I know it's just one game, but looking like he's going to be an all-star starter.
Oh,
I doubled down on what I was going to say.
I was going to say, first time All-Star, and he's going right to starter?
I know it's only one game, man, but Evan Mobley, man,
yeah.
looked very, very good. Looked aggressive. Looked like he was ready to play. And my goodness, what a sight to see. I'm not even a Cavs fan, but I'm excited for it. So I do like Evan Mobley.
It was incredible to see him start out this way because we saw a little bit of it in the preseason, but coming out in the first game, going right at Scotty Barnes, a good defender, a draft class rival, if you want to say, in his own right. And he led a dominant performance by the Cavs. Now, it was against the Raptors, who have made it clear that they are going to be a rebuilding team this season. But for the Cavs with new head coach Kenny Atkinson, for them to get, 136 points. This is the most points ever scored by the Cavs on the road in a regulation game in Cavs franchise history. And really everyone for the Cavs played well besides Darius Garland. Foul trouble kind of diminished his performances a little bit. But even when he was out there, he was playmaking. He was still decent. But they were just so impressive on both ends of the floor. It was great to see.
I know as a Cavs fan, we all were very excited and saying that Kenny Atkinson, at least we were hoping he was going to unlock Evan Mobley. And when I was working yesterday and running around the restaurant, I was looking at the TVs and I saw a stat that popped up, and it was like it was last year against Toronto. Pretty much going against the same players like Scotty Barnes and all that kind of stuff. Mobley only averaged like 14.5 points against them. That happened in the second quarter, and at that time, that man already had 17 points. Like, they went to him early, and he looks so good, guys. I'm so excited.
I'll say this.
This offense is incredible.
Yeah, man. Putting up the highest point total on night one of everyone playing, night two in the NBA, like, that's mighty impressive in your first performance as a head coach. And for Evan Mobley to look comfortable, like putting the ball on the floor, that's really what I think the key for him can be in addition to that 3-point shooting, because once you add that threat, then they have to respect it. It's easier to get past defenders. But just watching him being able to take one dribble from the 3-point line and get to the rim is really killer because of the fact that he is an elite defender on the other end. And then if you can have Karis LeVert come out and drop 19 off the bench, go money, 2 for 2 from downtown, Ty Jerome with 14 points off the bench as well. I mean, that is huge production from those guys. 47% from three and damn near 60% from the field overall is really good stuff. I don't care who you're playing against.
Ty Jerome, we didn't have him last year. He completely changes this bench unit. Like, we had undrafted rookie Craig Porter, and we all love Craig Porter Jr. But Ty Jerome, who's been in the league for a couple of years, also 6'5", when both of our starting guards out there are 6'2" and 6 foot, like on a good day.
Right.
It completely changes everything.
Yeah, especially that size and a guy who knows how to use it. Like when he drives inside, he's got great touch around the basket. You see him throw up a lot of floaters and bank shots a lot. Nice pace. So yeah, just a great start for the Cavs. And this was interesting. Something that I learned from this game. So with Max Strus out, he's out for the first month and a half of the season with an ankle injury. Cavs started Dean Wade at the small forward, which I agreed with the move. But I was surprised to hear that this 5-man unit of Garland, Mitchell, Wade, Mobley, and Allen, they had played 0 minutes together before this game.
That's like the optimal lineup for me last year.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was very surprised at that, but it is great because you have Wade and Mobley can both switch on the perimeter and play very well. Jared Allen's down there. He looked great. I mean, Mobley and Allen combined for 7 blocks. Very efficient. Donovan Mitchell did his thing. Everyone just looked really good. It's very important that the Cavs get off to a good start this season because they do have a pretty easy-ish start to the season. When they just played the Raptors, they'll play the Pistons tonight, then the Wizards tomorrow night. That's about as easy of a first 3 games as you can get. So it's important that they start off on a good note.
Definitely tip number 1, don't mention Mobley dribbling to my dad. He hates it. I talked to him about it the other night. I talked about it with him, and I talked about it with my mom, and she was like, "Oh, I watched it with your dad, and he hated it." He's like, every time Mobley touches the ball and dribbles it down the field, just give it to a guard, let him bring it up and go. And I'm like, dude, when I saw Mobley doing it, he would go attack, and he would draw a foul right away. Like, they can't guard him when he does that.
Yeah, he would make the right play.
Shout out Uncle Joe. Even
for
his bad takes get through.
Yeah,
when he's not here.
Mobley? He's got him on his fantasy team.
I know, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to have him on the podcast for sure. Now we'll swing back around a couple more, just one game, but it's just one game. But Anthony Davis is the best player in the league. He was unbelievable on Tuesday, the second game of the season. And he was the reason that the Lakers were able to defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves because of his all-around play on both ends. We knew with J.J. Redick coming in that the Lakers were going to make going to Anthony Davis a focal point, whether it was as a playmaker, a screener, or a scorer. And he showed the full package Tuesday night.
That is such a huge night. Like, going against Rudy Gobert, the how many time Defensive Player of the Year award, reigning one, like having a baller game and winning on opening night. Congratulations. I'm a big Laker hater, but congratulations for winning your first opening night since 2016.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of this game. I tuned out after my favorite player, Bronny, was off the floor. But yeah, I mean, no, I actually watched a pretty good chunk of this game, and yeah, AD took over, and I kind of agree with that so far. I mean, after the first couple games, AD is probably the best player in the league so far. I mean,
Santi Aldama has something to say about that.
Hey.
Yeah, three days into the season, definitely.
Our Marksman played better than him. Shut up. He played way better than him.
And then on the Minnesota Timberwolves side, I mean, they were in this game, in the fourth quarter after a rough start. They were making they were not having the full effort plays that we were seeing from them all last
No,
season.
they were not.
They'll fix that up during the season. Julius Randle in his first game with the Timberwolves, he was looking pretty passive to start. Didn't play that great, but we're right here. It's halftime of the Timberwolves and the Kings, and Randle has 22 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. So he's looking good.
He's definitely not passive now.
No, and Anthony Edwards is looking good. So I mean, it's an adjustment for that whole team. They do have a different looking team, different looking squad. So this Kings game, I mean, you guys will see. You guys already know what has happened, but it is important for the Timberwolves to get this victory. I guess last night they don't want to start off 0-2.
I don't know. They're playing the Kings, and we know how good the Kings are, right?
Right.
I think it's common knowledge.
Please.
Yeah, let's see. In the DeMar DeRozan debut, so far he has 14 points.
Yes.
Fox has 11 points and 4 assists. Sabonis 9 points, 5 rebounds. All around. That's good for the Sacramento Kings so far.
AKA my fantasy team.
Yeah, essentially Joey's whole fantasy team.
I'm all in on the Kings this year for everybody, but
yeah. Jackson, what's your next? It's just one game, but.
So my second, sorry, I gotta pull this up really quick. Low key. My second, it's just one game, was that Dame and Giannis are far and away the best duo in the NBA.
Man, nobody is happier than Miles right now.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Hey, I believed too. Okay.
Yeah, Jackson was kind of a believer, but I mean, no, they both complemented each other extremely well in that game Wednesday in Philly against the Sixers. Giannis did his all-around thing, 25 points, 14 boards, and 7 assists. And Dame time happened in the third quarter where he hit 4 threes, 4 or 4 from downtown, and they were able to extend their lead against the injured Sixers. Who we saw the burden that Tyrese Maxey has, taking 31 shots. You just see how desperately Paul George and Joel Embiid. I mean, how good they can be when all those guys are on the floor together.
Yeah, well, they're gonna play. They played the Sixers that are probably gonna play most of the year, except they're gonna have Paul George for most of it, hopefully. But Joel's not playing. Joel's already in mid-season form.
Already in mid-season form. Oh, boy. Joey, how about you? What's your final? It's just one game, but.
All right. My final one is it's just one game, but the Miami Heat are going to miss the playoffs and the play-in entirely. They are god-awful.
Oh, boy.
I know they take the regular season lightly, and I know we love the Orlando Magic, but could you have a worse showing in the first game of the season?
It was not good.
Dude, so after doing some more research with this game, the first half, I mean, it was pretty close. I mean, the Heat were playing pretty well. Magic were playing decent. Paolo had like 18 points on 18 shots. Like the defense was good on both sides. But then at halftime, the Miami Heat recognized Pat Riley. They named their home court the Pat Riley Court. And because of that, halftime was extended longer than normal for the first game. And what happens in the third quarter? The Magic extend their lead from 4 to 28 in 8 minutes. And in this game for the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler has 3 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Bam has 9 points on 1 of 5 shooting. He just got to the free throw line a bunch. It was a rough game, but it really was only the third quarter. Like, you take away the third quarter, the Heat actually outscored the Magic in this game. It was just that third quarter.
Take away the third quarter and take Jimmy and Bam off the court. They might have won.
The inaugural quarter of the Pat Riley court goes down in flames, hence the Miami Heat. How ironic is that?
First half of the regular season, just the Miami Heat stadium. It's like, okay, we're only down by 4. It's not too bad. We can come back. All right, it is officially the Pat Riley court. Okay, we suck.
Yeah,
We don't have to watch the Heat play until Saturday. So
it was unbelievable. Shout out to the Orlando Magic, though. They dominated. They get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the offseason to provide some shooting. And he didn't make a shot in this game. He was 0 for 5 from 3. But the Magic were firing away. I mean, you would never hear these numbers for this Magic team last season. 18 for 49 from distance on Wednesday night. Paolo Banchero went 4 of 8. Franz Wagner, who couldn't hit a shot last season, went 3 for 6. And Gary Harris turned into Derek White last night. He went 6 of 9 from deep, had 18 points off the bench, which made up for some early foul trouble for Jalen Suggs there. He only played 12 minutes due to foul trouble, but it did not matter. Paolo led the way with 33 points and 11 rebounds. He was one of the more impressive players of the night because he used his size to his advantage, taking those smaller Heat defenders when they would switch on him, taking them right to the rim and scoring over them. All around, great start for the Magic.
they look like a 3 seed, guys.
Oh my
They did. They did.
really did.
Just gonna put that out there.
I can't even argue that, honestly.
Who would have thought Gary Harris dropping 18 points in his I feel like he's been in the league for like a decade now.
Dude, I swear, Gary Harris has been in the league for 40 years.
Well, this is his 11th season.
There we go. So about a decade.
Yeah, man. That is
with Wilt, man. That's how long he's been in the league.
Some other notes from Wednesday night's games. Let's talk quickly about the Pistons-Pacers game in Detroit. This was a fun one. The Pistons played very well on the defensive end. They definitely looked like a much improved team, getting the veteran shooters in there, getting JB Bickerstaff as their head coach. They looked really good in the fourth quarter. The Pacers, all their guys ended up making plays. Of course, a playoff-tested team. Benedict Mathurin back from injury. He made plays. Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, who couldn't hit a shot. He missed his first 8 threes. Ended up hitting the dagger with 30 seconds to go. But a fun game in Detroit. That's another spot where the atmosphere was great. The Pistons fans were loud. They are excited for this team. They're excited to see the future of this Pistons team.
They were so loud they confused their own players on who should be on the court at what time. If the listeners or viewers didn't watch the game, at one point the Pistons got called for a technical foul because they had 6 men on the court at one time.
It's good coaching.
I saw a slow-mo of it, and it looks like the coach was like coming down the bench and like waved the dude to come on in the corner. And then as soon as they called it, he grabs him and pulls him back to the bench.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that was crazy. And that honestly messed up the rhythm of the game for the Pistons. They really couldn't hit a shot for a good stretch there. Then they couldn't get the shots down the stretch when the Pacers guys were getting it going. But overall, that's just a really good first game. Pacers get an early win on the road. They needed to win. That would not have been a good look to lose to the Pistons in the first game. And the Pistons were in it the whole way through. So that's you're very encouraged if you're a Pistons fan to start off the season.
Good showing for Cade Cunningham, 28 and 8, and then you have 5 other guys here in double figures. It's pretty much a full committee effort.
And Cade had 20 in the fourth quarter. He did his best to try to get the Pistons the victory. He was letting all the other guys do their thing to start. Then he took over, was not enough for the victory. Next game, the Brooklyn Nets and Atlanta Hawks. I did not watch a whole lot of this game, but there were a couple random scuffles. That was crazy.
It turned into fight night.
It did. It was something else. But I guess 2 stories from this game. Onyeka Okongwu, having the best game of his career, had 28 points, 11 for 12 from the field off the bench. He was absurd, along with Trae Young. Here are some of the top numbers from the game. Trae Young did his thing. And Cam Thomas, he had a 20-point fourth quarter.
13. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Cam Thomas, he had a 20-point fourth quarter, 36 points, 7 threes. He nearly brought the Nets back to spoil the Hawks opener.
Hey, 3 assists by Cam Thomas. That's pretty solid. That's pretty
Yeah.
solid. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely pretty solid there. What other games have we not talked about?
Dude, Michael Porter Jr. has one right now. Just saying.
Oh, he has one right now.
Oh,
That Thunder Nuggets isn't going. We should have a good one in the third and fourth quarter. Bulls Pelicans. This was kind of a game. This was the game of showcasing players to eventually get traded, because Brandon Ingram had 33 points for the Pelicans, and for the Bulls, Levine had 27 and Vucevic had 21. So it was a show. It was basically a showing for everyone else throughout the league.
very nice to
Dude,
see Lonzo back.
Yes, for sure.
I didn't watch this game. I didn't keep up with this game because the fantasy app didn't even recognize this game existed until like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was rude.
I don't know what.
It was
I
making
was
me
getting
mad.
frustrated.
Oh,
I was getting
love that.
frustrated because I got Levine on my team and it wasn't counting for anything.
Couple
Yeah,
bright
just like-
spots for the Pelicans were Eve Messi and Jordan Hawkins both playing over 25 minutes and being efficient in
Yeah,
their roles.
What was that, Jackson?
Eve Messi looked great.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unfortunate news for DeJounte Murray, who fractured his hand.
Yes, in a game where he wasn't that efficient, but still 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 14 points. But is out indefinitely with the fractured left arm. It was a weird play. I mean, he was fouled on a 3, and when he landed on his arm. You never really see that. And it wasn't even that crazy of a foul. Like, I don't think it was a flagrant foul or anything like that. Just a weird fluke play. But prayers to DeJounte Murray. Hope quick recovery, and Zion will be back eventually. He missed this game due to illness. That's kind of why I didn't tune into this one, because we'll see the Pelicans and Zion back later. But Messi and Hawkins off the bench, combining for 25 points and 14 rebounds.
There we go.
Yeah, very good start for those two young guys.
What is he, sick of playing already?
Of what, Zion?
Yeah, like what are we doing?
He's sick.
He's sick, dude.
I'm
You don't
sick
get
of him
sick?
missing games.
Haircut Jackson.
Shut up.
Didn't you hear about the E. coli outbreak at McDonald's? That's probably where he
That's
got
true.
sick from.
I did hear about
That's
that,
true.
actually.
Zion dabbles in the Mickey D's.
Yeah. All right. 3 more games to get to here. Grizzlies Jazz. This was a surprisingly fun, close game that came down to the wire. That saw a lot of different, expected stars, but also some unexpected stars. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Lowry Markkanen did their thing. Markkanen was especially awesome. But for the Grizzlies, Santi Aldama with 27 points. And then for the Jazz, Walker Kessler with 14 points. Or I think it was 16 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks.
Dude,
Dang.
Walker Kessler looked so good. Like Aldama looked good, but dude, Walker Kessler was a beast. He was catching lobs. He was blocking shots left and right. I watched a lot of this game, and Walker Kessler looked fantastic. Looked amazing.
I do want to shout out my Rookie of the Year vote, Zach Edey, for fouling out in his first ever game.
Yeah, not the best start, but it'll be fine.
It's a long season. You gotta need one more games.
It's a long season. The Golden State Warriors, briefly, they blew out the Portland Trailblazers 139-104. A game where the Blazers got off to a pretty good start, but then it was all Warriors, led by Steph, who was 1 board shy of a triple-double. Andrew Wiggins with 20 points. Buddy Buckets in his first game with the Warriors had 22 points in 14 minutes of play.
I knew Buddy Hill was going to have a good year.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. So far, the hot take for Jackson and I having the Warriors low, not looking great after one game, but it's okay.
I'm not worried.
Can't hit
I'm
them
not
all.
worried about it.
You completely forgot to do this in the preseason. It should have been one of the most it should have been one of our questions. The over under for Draymond Tex this year. One game, he's already got one.
Yeah. Draymond doing Draymond things 1 game in. Actually, I had the score. It was 140-104. So they dropped.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Warriors outscored the Cavs on opening night. Like I misspoke earlier. Of
That's
course, it was
still-
Golden State, though.
Of course it was Golden State. That's exactly what I was gonna say, Nick. I was like,
Yeah, a couple of dominating performances though. And then we'll go to a game that just occurred before we started recording last night. The Spurs and the Mavericks. The Mavericks defeating the Spurs 120 to 109. And Luka did his thing, but the main star was Klay Thompson in his first game for the Mavericks. 22.7 boards and hit 6 threes, setting the new Mavericks record for threes made in their debut for the Mavericks. And it was great. It was great. I mean, the Spurs and Mavs, they were pretty close in the first half. It was kind of an ugly game to start. But in the fourth quarter, the Mavericks, I don't know how, I got to find how many threes they made exactly, but they went on a 9-0 run all off threes in the fourth quarter to just blow open the
Here, I
game.
got you.
Yeah,
They
it was great.
made 6 out of 9 threes in the fourth quarter.
6 out of 9 threes in the fourth quarter. And they were all off of defensive stops as well. Luka hitting 3 threes in the fourth, Klay with 2. Just a good performance for the Mavericks. And then the Spurs, Wemby didn't look that great in his first game of the season.
He can't shoot.
Yeah, he didn't look that great, but it was encouraging to see the role players step up.
I was gonna say, shout out the Champagne brother that we got in PERTL.
Yeah, his brother Julian, 18.7 boards, 3 assists, hit 4 threes. Harrison Barnes had 17. Jeremy Sohan had 18. And Chris Paul in his Spurs debut had 7 rebounds and 8 assists. So those other guys stepped up. It was ironically the 2 best players, you could say, Wembanyama, Keldon Johnson, or at least the 2 better players that the Spurs have had in the past, not really playing that well. And of course, Devin Vassell out with injury, unable to play.
Yeah, that hurts. He's a big scorer for them. They're gonna need him.
Stephon Castle was in at the end there during garbage time, but he played almost 20 minutes and had 8 points, 5 assists, had a couple cross-court passes that were very impressive. I was like, dang, he's got vision. He's getting to his spots around the rim. It was impressive.
Already learning from CP3. It's good to see.
Yeah, because I mean the defense is unquestionable his best attribute, and so like passing and scoring will be anything. It'll be icing on the cake.
Yeah, San Antonio with 30 assists on 39 made baskets. So they were sharing the ball like we know the Spurs have been for all these years.
That sounds like Spurs basketball.
Yeah, that if anything else, the Spurs are always going to be moving that basketball. But yeah,
constants in life: death, taxes, Spurs basketball,
Spurs basketball. But yeah, that's a look at all the games covered. Every single team besides the Thunder Nuggets that's currently going on right now. We're in the third quarter. Thunder have a 7-point lead. Looking very, very good so far. Again, check out the Run in the Paint recap for our thoughts on that game. Some news that has occurred throughout the season. We already touched on DeJounte Murray's hand. From that Pacers-Pistons game, unfortunate, James Wiseman tore his Achilles. That was you hate to see those non-contact injuries. They're so scary.
Yeah.
Especially in game 1.
Yeah. Wish him for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, in a game where he was off to a good start too, like as their backup center. I want to say he had 6 points in the 4 minutes he played. Like he was looking good. But his season, I'm assuming, coming to an end with the Achilles injury there for the Pacers. Some contract news. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year, future Hall of Famer Rudy Gobert, 3-year, $110 million extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're doubling down, man. They're doubling down.
Why do you have to say it like that? Future Hall of Fame. I know he is, but like you don't have to say it like that.
It's true. He's undoubtedly a future Hall of Famer.
I want you to say it for every time for every Hall of Famer then now.
Are you gonna cry?
Maybe. We'll see. I just don't get the Rudy hate. He gets for any like future Hall of Famer. He gets hated on so much.
That is true.
I don't hate him anymore. I hate him briefly.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like he was like your least favorite player. I forgot about that time. But no, extending with the Timberwolves again, doubling down on this core of players. Only one that's really up for debate now is seeing how Julius Randle plays this season, up for a player option. Now working, the third quarter just started, now with 25 points. He made another 3, so he is balling for Minnesota there in his second game. Going from a player that Jackson formerly hated to a player that Jackson currently hates, the NBA currently investigating Joel Embiid, the NBA participation policy. I don't know what will get made of this. I'm not sure exactly what will get made of this. I honestly don't think anything's going to happen.
I heard it was an anonymous
Career-long suspension.
What?
That makes no sense.
Career-long suspension.
Bro,
He's a
stop.
scrub.
Dude, I heard there was an anonymous tip called into the NBA offices. I heard the name was Jackson Gatlin.
Nope.
Shout out to the Locked On Rockets host, Jackson Gatlin.
Someone might be framing you, I heard.
Good.
Yeah, potentially. But I mean, this Joel Embiid investigation, what do you guys think of it? Do you guys see anything really going to happen with this?
No.
I hope something happens.
They're going to suspend him for even longer so that he can't play even more games. Like, the only other thing they could do is fine the organization, which I guess.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely outcome. They'll fine the Sixers.
Or they can do everything in favor and make it so he can't play anymore.
So injury prone. I don't see the big issue personally.
I mean, I don't see the big issue, especially considering he is an injury prone player. Like, if take games to tend to the injury so that they don't pile up and you don't get seriously injured throughout the season, and that impacts your championship odds.
And if you're going even individually, like now the individual awards are tied to your availability. So sucks to suck. If you're injured, you don't get rewarded for it. Like you really just have to get better and get healthy. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and that's really all there is to it. We'll see if anything happens along with that. Final thing here, with the Emirates NBA Cup starting in a couple of weeks, all 30 of the courts have been revealed. Here are all 30 of them, organized here by group. All the teams this season will be wearing their statement uniforms instead of the city jerseys for these games for the Emirates NBA Cup. Jackson, we'll start with do any of these courts stand out to you that you really like?
Oh, I really like the Spurs. Is that the Warriors next to the Jazz? That's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like the Warriors court at all.
Ew.
I don't like the Wizards one. It looks like it's just like a hand reaching across the middle of the court.
Yeah.
It's just a hand, and I know there's the ball, but it's like half covered up from the paint.
What is the Pacers? Did I say room, baby?
Boom, baby.
We bring the ball.
So stupid. Like why?
Jackson. Let's see, Joey. Any courts that stand out to you besides that Wizards handball?
Yeah, the Wizards one really stands out to me. I'm with Jackson. I really like the Spurs one. I also really, really like the Hornets one. I know you can't really tell for this picture, but all like on the court, it's like all honeycomb shapes. I saw a closer picture of it, and it's all honeycombed on the court. It looks really, really cool, but like simple.
I like it.
I think the Brooklyn one kind of looks like that as well. It's kind of like different
the diagonal
directions.
The thing is,
like Brooklyn's.
That looks like their normal court, except the cup is on there. That's why I don't like the Nets. It's just their normal court.
I like Houston's though too. The dark red on the light red, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. The Knicks one is nice. I like the Knicks.
What's the purple in East B?
Toronto.
That's the Toronto one. That's sick.
Toronto's is clean. I like it.
Looking like the Rockets.
It's too bright,
yeah,
dude. Why are they too bright?
Wait, which one? The Heat one?
No, Nuggets, Lakers, and why are the Hawks yellow?
Yeah,
I don't get the Hawks one.
That one might be the worst one.
I think the Pistons one could be cool. That just has way too much going on.
It's just their logo, like
It's their
stamped
logo and
on
like,
it all
yeah.
over.
It's their logos
I don't
and like
even know
5,
what's
6
going
different.
on.
Yeah.
The Wizards, I don't even know what's going
The
on.
Wizards is just a hand.
Yeah, Jordan Poole's going to drop 50 on that hand, so be ready.
Phoenix's looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, all around
The
decent
Timberwolves ugly.
designs.
Oh, I love all these courts. If only they could do something with the
Oh.
NBA Finals courts like they used to.
Yeah, like
Dude, there's
why
some
don't we
that are
have the
just
trophy in that half
atrocious.
court
Ew.
anymore? It doesn't make any sense.
Ew.
Oh.
Some
Yeah,
of
no,
those
those courts are kind of sick though. Most of them are really sick.
Yeah,
I think you said in the pre-pod lobby, right? They go after the statement jerseys, not the city ones this year. Okay.
Correct. So that's what they're based off of. So I like it for that they're based off the actual team normal logos. Because we already get city courts designed just for the jerseys. So it's nice to have other courts, designed for that. Even though they'll only get used twice. These courts only get used twice for it.
Yeah.
But that is all we have to go over for this episode. You guys have anything else before we get out of here?
Not really.
No.
I don't think so. Go Cavs.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, so many games. Great to have basketball back. In the next episode, we'll be back to go over some more after we get a little bit more of a sample size with all these teams playing. We'll see if the NBA arrests Joel Embiid,
Good.
which is
Lock him
Jackson's
up.
hope.
Lock him up. Put him behind bars for life.
Bars for life?
Bars
Oh,
for
good
life.
looking.
Stop.
My goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. We've got the podcast every Tuesday and Friday at 9 a.m. We now have the Run in the Paint recaps going up every weekday, potentially more at 6 a.m. Eastern in the morning for you guys to listen to. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.